All right. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for that. Um, Before I start, just a little, I know we already said hello to Kitty online. So, Kitty, if you're still on and technology is still cooperating, hi. And then we have Isabel in Colorado, and then Sandy in Florida. And I'm sure that there's many, many people all across the globe doing exactly the same thing that we're doing, that is worshiping the Lord in their own cultural way. I'd love to continue. So up to this point, what we've been doing was we've been looking at Psalm 42, and I gave you a glimpse of the fact that Psalm 42 and Psalm 43 are together. So when you think of Psalm 42 and Psalm 43, back then when it was written, these poems, these songs were sung together as best as we can tell from the scriptures. And Psalm 43 is what we will be using to prepare for Easter, to prepare our hearts, our minds for Easter. And before I get into the text itself, I want you to think about a time when you were falsely accused. Did you eat that ice cream in the freezer? Yeah. And other accusations could be a little bit more serious than that. But think of a time when you were falsely accused and you had to carry this burden of guilt that somebody thought you are guilty. You're the one that ate the ice cream. I know it for a fact, okay? So don't even try to deny it, all right? But then after the fact, you saw a little rover doggy, with a little ice cream on his whiskers, and you realized, oh, maybe it wasn't that person. So that person got vindicated. They got vindicated. So today we're talking about vindication. And I would like to anchor this message, which we consider this message to be an act of worship. So let us worship our God through this message, but let's anchor it in Psalm 43, and I'm going to read one verse, verse 1. Here's what the text, this poem, says. Vindicate me, my God. This is Psalm 43, verse 1. Vindicate me, my God, and plead my cause against an unfaithful nation. Rescue me from those who are deceitful and wicked. Whenever I read wicked, I think of the new play. Like, well, no, that's the wrong way to think of the wicked in this context, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this text. After all, it's very short. Vindicate me, my God, and plead my cause against some foe, right? Rescue me from those who are deceitful and wicked. Here's the text. Let's see what is this text in context. And the first thing I want us to pay attention to is the first word, vindicate. Vindicate is a legal term. This is a legal term. We go to, any lawyers here? No? All right, too bad. Well, the lawyers need Jesus also. So a legal term that renders a not guilty verdict. That's what vindicate is. So the poet is saying, God, would you please give a not guilty verdict? Would you please find me not guilty, Your Honor? That's what this is all about. Now, who gives that? Obviously, a judge. The judge pronounces not guilty. Well, in this case, the poet is talking with God. Now, why is he thinking of God as a judge? Well, because in ancient cultures, the king held the power of judgment. They didn't have, the judicial system, the executive branch, and the other guys. All that was concentrated in one person, one individual, the king. And in ancient context, the Most High God was the king of the universe. He still is, by the way. We get glimpses of that. By the way, do you watch Chosen? The Chosen? Do you guys know what I'm talking about if I say The Chosen? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All right, some thumbs up, a few thumbs down. That's okay. The Chosen is a new series that it takes the scriptures and things like an artist does and say, well, what else could have happened in the time? So one thing about The Chosen, it definitely follows the scriptures, but not everything on the TV show is exactly found in the scriptures. There's artistic rendition, if you will. So in that TV series, you'll find the ancient Israelites always, when they prayed, referred to God, the King of the universe. Blessed are you, King of the universe.
I missed something. Can you say it again?
Let me say it again. I think your little technology is talking to us. I think it was Siri or whatever who was talking to us. So she missed something. She wants me to say it again. Here it is. Blessed are you, O God, King of the universe. Yes? Amen. So God is the judge. Now this poet is asking the judge to plead his case. Plead my cause. In a sense, he's asking, this poet is asking the judge, would you please be my lawyer, my attorney? See, the person that pleads the case is the advocate, is the attorney who looks at the situation and provides legal counsel. Legal counsel. The judge is also legal counsel. This person has nowhere else to go. He's asking the judge, would you please give me the no guilty verdict? Oh, and also, would you please be my legal counsel? I have no one else. Be my legal counsel against the accusations that are coming my way. Well, what are the accusations? What's the opposition? Well, we don't know specifically the exact accusations unless you go a little bit in Psalm 42 and you can see this person being attacked and oppressed spiritually. So now in regards to the opposition, who is the opposition? It's rendered here in our text as the unfaithful nation. Unfaithful nation. Now, I don't know about you. When you read this here, do you think that this poet is talking about Israel as the unfaithful nation? Does that your brain, does that go there? No? Maybe it's another nation? Or maybe it's, who is this unfaithful nation? Well, unfaithful is this means rebellious. So somehow there's a people group, a nation, so a people group that's organized under a specific authority, right? That's what a nation is. It's a bunch of people organizing themselves under a specific authority. Okay, and not only this, but this people group organizing under a specific authority is rebellious, is against the Most High God. So this is a nation that is in contrast, in opposition to the poet and to the Most High God. By the way, when it says unfaithful, I love this. All right, I don't normally do this because I don't want to get too technical here. But when it says unfaithful nation, that word is actually the word not. So this is a not nation. Not. This is a negative opposition against nation. That's what this is. That's what the text is talking about. An enemy of the king. And the poet is in the middle of something. It's in the middle of a powerful attack of some kind of siege, some kind of a situation where the poet is pinned down. The reason we know this is because it says, rescue me. Rescue me from those who are So this poet right now, I want you to imagine a military force surrounded by enemies, and this military force cannot do anything else other than try to survive, try to hang on. And this military force needs rescuing. It's a kind of a hostage situation. It's a pinned down situation. It's a siege situation. This poet, and imagine the military unit, does not have the capability or the means by which they can rescue themselves. They can't get out of it. They're stuck. So the poet is saying, judge, advocate, legal counsel, take up my cause, defend me, give me a non-guilty verdict, because I am stuck. I cannot go in any other direction. I am stuck with no hope of any kind of salvation. I need rescue. Rescue me. From whom? Well, from the enemy. And I want us to pay attention. Tom mentioned in communion, because that sin is so important, and sin is sin matters to God. And the reason for that is you get a sense here in the text when the poet uses the words deceitful and wicked. See, when we think deceitful, I want you to imagine treachery. That's what's deceitful, treachery. Somebody who is a friend that stabbed you in the back. And it wasn't even an accident. It was malicious. It was with intent. Deceitful. It's lies. It's fraud with the intent to hurt. Deceitful. And wicked. No, don't think of the play. Wicked in this context. We're talking about an injustice. This is an attack on helpless people. Imagine a helpless individual being attacked by somebody much more powerful in such a ruthless way. This is wicked. This is violence. Violence, no remorse, no empathy. Wicked. A vile perversion towards evil. So this rebellious nation that's organized under a specific authority has surrounded the poet. The poet has no means of escape. And this horde that is surrounding and pinned down the poet, and they are so treacherous, they are so filled with malice, that they have no problem committing the most evil kinds of violence. So the poet, the psalm says, vindicate me. It's a cry for vindication and for rescue. Well, how does that prepare us for Easter? Well, I want us to take a look at this text, and I want us to begin to say, well, you know, the way it might help us to prepare for Easter, this is the application of this text. We can apply it this way. I want you to think, the first thing I want you to think about is, I want you to think of the biggest example of false accusation. And not only that, I want you to think of the biggest case of false accusation and vindication. If you were to ask me, I cannot think of a bigger case than the case against Jesus of Nazareth. See, he was accused. He was accused with malice. He was accused without cause. His death and his resurrection provided the vindication that he's innocent. So when you think of Jesus going through this horrific ordeal that led to his crucifixion, that is that false accusation. But then the vindication came 3 days later when he rose from the dead. And yes, as Christians, we claim and we say Jesus rose from the dead. That's a big, big claim. But it's a foundational one. It's the foundation of our faith. So this text is showing us, pointing us to the fact that the Most High God is not unaccustomed with false accusation. He's gone through it. He sent his Son specifically for that, to be falsely accused and vindicated. The other thing that we can look at as we think of this text is we can look at our condition. Our condition as humanity, our condition as people, our condition as individuals, your condition, my condition. And when we think of our condition, we are pinned down. We are surrounded by sin. We are in complete bondage when we are cut off from God. That's what, by the way, it means when you need rescue. That means you're cut off from everything else. You're cut off, separated. So our condition without God, we are surrounded, pinned down. Do you realize it? Do you realize the reality of your condition when you are cut off from God? And listen, it doesn't matter if you've grown up in church. It doesn't matter if you've heard the message. It doesn't matter. What it matters is the fact that are you cut off from God? Are you in a relationship with God? Our condition remains trapped in need of rescue without Him. And I think the Psalm verbalizes in a very distinct way, very poetic way, our condition. Perhaps you might have been far from God for a while, and this is your heart's cry. Rescue me from all the stuff around me. There's a cry of the heart. There's a longing of the heart. But what I like about this text, and the most amazing thing, is the fact that God does offer vindication. See, this poet is not barking up the wrong tree. This poet is not going and asking for things that wishful thinking and may never happen. No. The poet knows that the Most High God can and will rescue. See, God offers vindication. Let me say this again. God offers vindication, but there's a catch. Oh, I knew it. I knew it, Pastor. There's a catch, isn't there? He offers vindication on His terms. God offers vindication on His terms. Imagine you're going before the judge. The judge says, "It's very easy for me to find you guilty and throw you in jail and suffer the consequences. However, I am prepared to offer you a non-guilty verdict, provided that you follow the terms of my judgment." What's His terms? Well, we know from the scripture that it's a free gift. Hey, I like the sound of that. That's pretty cool. Free gift, woo! Yeah, free to you, not free to Him. So it's a free gift. So this vindication, His terms, the judge is saying, look, I am willing to give you the non-guilty verdict, but it has to be done in a specific way. Well, what's the way, Mr. Judge? I'm glad you asked. Let me bring in the legal counsel. Well, who's the legal counsel? I am. Oh, okay. See, I've sent my son into this world, who was already in this condition of being pinned down in bondage by sin, as quite actually, you are all enemies, my enemies. So I've sent my Son in the midst of you all, you enemies, so that he can offer the way, the legal counsel, showing you the path to freedom. And he's the advocate that says, I will take on all that is the consequence that you should have offered, or you should have experienced, and I'm going to take that consequence. I will go through what you couldn't have gone through, and I will bring vindication to you, provided that you follow me, my path. The image I want you to have is this. You are in the middle of a minefield. You don't know where the mines are, but you're stuck in this minefield. And in this minefield, you take one step in the wrong direction and boom. So the advocate comes and said, I can rescue you from the minefield. Follow me. Oh, I know better. No, you got to come this way. You got to follow me. You got to follow the way I am actually showing you how to do things. Oh, that is so archaic. I don't know, but that's just so 2000. Okay? I don't know. It just doesn't fit. All right, well, try it the other way. Yes, I will. Boom. Stop going into the boom direction. He offers a path. The legal counsel says, I have the no guilty verdict is right here. The terms are as follows. You need to follow the terms, or else the legal verdict does not apply. See, Jesus is the way. He shows a path to freedom. So the good news for you and for me is that vindication is possible when we surrender to his path. When we surrender to him and say, okay, Lord Jesus, I don't know the path. Some things that you've told us, quite honestly, in this 21st century, don't feel quite right, because the culture and society and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter is telling me something totally different. But you're saying this, so I got to trust you, because throughout eternity, you are the only creator God. So I'm going to follow you in this path, in this direction, because I want to be rescued, and I crave that relationship that says no guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Jesus is the way to rescue. Easter. That's really what we're talking about. So what do we do? Okay, so I understand the text. We understand how we could apply the text into our 21st century. What can we do today? I'd like to suggest that if you have not yet accepted the deal, the not guilty plea bargain, I'd like to suggest that maybe you start there. Accept his way, accept the deal that the Most High God provided for all of us for free. This is restoration of relationship. This is no longer cut off, no longer being an outcast. This is freedom from the bondage of sin. All you have to do is surrender to the terms. Surrender to the judge. That's really what it is. And you know what you get in return? You get new life. You're before the judge. You're guilty. The relationship is ruined. The judge says, I have something for you. You accept his way. And instead of your life being ruined and going to jail and worse, you have new life. New life. I just got out of jail. Can you believe it? I have a new life. That's the first action. Accept the king's offer. Here's another action. If you've accepted the king's offer, now some of you have like, well, Pastor, I've accepted the king's offer, 120 years ago. Long time ago. I've been a follower of Jesus all my life. God bless you. But here's the thing. If you've ever been in that, you've got to not just accept the offer. See, you've got to join the rescue mission. See, Jesus is on a rescue mission. So, yes, you've accepted the offer and go, oh, I got mine. Woo, I'm done. I got mine. Get yours. No. See, the king says, look. You have your offer. You have your pardon. You have your new life. I need you to join with me to bring that message out. Join the rescue operation because many remain in bondage. So be a messenger of good news. How will you do that? I'll tell you in a little bit. But before I tell you how you can be a messenger of good news, I want to address those people. I'm like, well, yeah, I've accepted the offer, but I just did it relatively recently. I don't know, last week, last month, last year, last 2 years. Yeah, I'm relatively new to this. Great. See, Jesus says that after you accept his offer, he wants you to make a public declaration of that. How do we do that? Well, baptism. So if you have accepted his vindication on his terms, perhaps follow it up with a public baptism. See, Jesus said that, to be baptized. It's like, well, Pastor, I know we normally do like a baptism out on, in July or August out by the lake. That's great. Why wait? We can actually do it here. Well, not today because we got to have it all set up and all that. Well, no. We can do it inside and it'll be nice warm bath water. All right? We've done a winter baptisms. So let me put it out to you. If the Lord is nudging you towards baptism, don't wait till August. Come talk to me. Say, hey, Pastor, I've been being nudged into this direction because, see, I've accepted this deal. I've accepted this authority of the Most High God, and he's now my God. But now I want to follow it up with being obedient to the commandment that he said, go and baptize. I want the world to know. Like, brilliant. We can do it right now. Well, not today. We can do it. Talk to me about that. All right, let's get back to how do we proclaim? How do we not proclaim? But how do we live out? How do we go after this message of good news? How can we be messengers of this awesome deal that God has provided? I'm going to offer a few things. One, it's great that you have yours, but maybe others around you could use it also. And the scripture says, oh, how are they going to know if you don't tell them? The biggest challenge that we have today in all this technology and communication is communication. Yeah? So, how about join the rescue mission by inviting others to check it out? Maybe it's a text. Maybe it's a phone call. Oh, Pastor, I don't text. No problem. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's using the Facebook events that we have and the social media that we have to say, hey, why don't you come over? Check it out. We have Palm Sunday coming up. We have this amazing service next week where we're going to actually worship by doing our acts of kindness service. Oh, and you know what? Good Friday. Oh, let me tell you about Good Friday. On Good Friday, we're going to do this amazing service where we're going to remember God sending his son and dying on the cross. And the way we're going to do it, we're going to do this thing called Tenebrae service. What is that called? That's called Tenebrae service. Well, what is that? I've never heard of a Tenebrae service. Well, I'm glad you asked. A Tenebrae service is when we start with the lights on like this, and over time, the lights get turned off. And we read some scriptures, we react to it, and by the end of it, it's a powerful symbol of darkness. Yeah, by the end of it, we're all going to go out in darkness and silence. So invite somebody to that. Good Friday. And then let's not talk about Easter. Oh my goodness, that's a big celebration. Easter Sunday, invite somebody. I love the fact that there was somebody here that invited another person. And I happen to know this other person. I went to them. I said, "Oh, wow, so glad you're here." "Well, yeah, but you wouldn't know. This person texted me over and over and over and said, 'You've got to come. Please, 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 please.'" And I'm like, "Well, are you glad that you did?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that person just went out of their way, went out of their skin to beg, plead, whatever, for that person to be there." Fine. Do that if you have to. Invite. Here's the other thing we can do. Meet a specific need. Do you realize that meeting a specific need is probably the best message of good news? It's the best way we can show people that, wow, God cares. Look, invite those individuals to participate in our acts of kindness next week. We have this sanctuary course starting in April 2nd. That's about mental health and how we support those that are with mental health challenges. Sign up for that. Invite others. Make sure you are prepared. Equip yourself to meet a specific need. By the way, if you need to know how to do that, how to register for that class, for that mental health class, in April 2nd starts. It's going to be Tuesdays from 5 o'clock to 6:30. On the website, there's a link there. Click on it. If you can't find it, talk to me. We'll get you connected. We'll get you signed up. But it's a way to meet a specific needs. Prepare yourself for that, to join the rescue operation. And the other way is to be active on the prayer wall. You heard Jenny talk about the fact that Corinne suffered and other people in the building suffered loss of a home. They have no place to go other than friends, family, at least temporarily. That building is, if you want to see what it looks like, right here, the prayer wall is this screen on the other side over here. Go there, you'll see it's charred. So we can be messengers of hope. We can invite people. We can meet a specific need. We can equip ourselves to be able to minister. And we can pray. Join the prayer wall. If you don't know where it is, it's something like this. Look in here. Grab all this. God is in the business of rescue. God is in the business of wanting to give all of us a not guilty verdict. Take him up on it. Take him up on it. Let's do one more song. Nate, you ready? And the team? All right, why don't you guys come on up? Let's do one more song, and then we'll send you out with a prayer at the end.